Diamond Mounter channel, welcome. Right, this video is an excerpt taken from a recent full instructional guide I made. It was a how to make a 9-stone clustering video. I wanted to cut out this section and show it on YouTube for free because I think it's quite useful to people. What I'm essentially doing is putting a bezel setting edge on a dome, positioning it, fluxing it, soldering it. Simple. But in the video there's a whole wealth of information about how to do that correctly. And also I like it because I had a bit of trouble. I had a little bit of a problem trying to get the solder to connect. So I think that's going to be valuable and encouraging to people learning to make jewellery, to see a professional jeweller struggling a little bit, because it is actually a normal experience. The day never comes where you've learned enough and then everything works perfectly first time for the rest of your life. No, like even after 20 odd years experience, I still have to work very carefully, even doing basic things. So yeah, if you want to see the whole video, it's you've got to become a patron, so it's patron.com/Diamond Mounter. There's a link in the description. If you do become a patron, you get a shout out on the next upload after you join. You get access to the new YouTube videos 2 weeks before they go public on YouTube, and classic and official patrons will get access to all the full instructional guides from £10 a month, and there are now 30, I believe, full instructional guides. So they're like online courses, so just £10 you can have access to all of them, so I think it's really good value. But if not, you're welcome to just watch and enjoy the stuff I put out for free on YouTube. And if you wouldn't mind clicking like and subscribe, helps the channel grow, helps me share more of what I learned over the last, feel old now, coming up to like 25 odd years as a professional jeweller. So yeah, hope you do. So what I'm going to do next time I make one of these, I'll cut out the disc, make the disc nice and round, mark the centre, get these 4 lines, and then from the centre I use my dividers to draw some circles around it, even like 1, 2, 3, just so very helpful lining things up, getting them in the middle. So anyway, yeah, worthwhile doing that. So that's now easier to put that in a central position, and so I'll just do that and then get it soldered. Just a bit of advice on actually getting that central. So it's on there, I've got my head directly above it. You get kind of, it's not immediately easy to see because you get like a shadow on the inside of that collet, and it can sort of throw your eye off a little bit. So that's why these lines on the disc are helpful. But as for actually physically getting the right position, I've got my head above it, directly above it, so I can move around, look left, right, up and down, and then I rest my hand on the bench, even touching my finger on the side of the block, and then just carefully nudge it with some tweezers. So that's what I do, nudge it that way, that way, that way, and get around it. So you've got to have a really steady hand and be able to look all the way around it. Next, you've got to do this very carefully as well, is actually cook that flux without it boiling and moving that piece about. So I'm cooking that flux on, so that's gone well, but I do want to add more flux. If I just got that wet and then touched it, it would likely sort of burn the, what they're called, hairs on the brush, and then I might grip it and pull it off. That's happened to me loads of times, so let things cool down a little bit, otherwise you risk moving it by touching it again. Got to test the temperature. Yeah, it's a bit hot, look. See, you see that grabbed a bristle off my brush. That's not good on your collet. So I'll just blow on it, cool it down a bit, and add a bit more flux. Get down there. Hopefully I can make that flood down. Sort of want to get heat underneath it. I might have to lift that up or get it on the edge. What's going on with my flame today? So I want to heat the dome up, and hopefully that solder flows downwards. Sort of looking like it might not. No, didn't do it. Just while I'm waiting for that to cool down, Yeah, it's nice. Once you've got it tacked on in one position, then you can start working a bit more quickly because it's held there, so you can sort of flux, put loads more flux on a bit more carelessly. You can put solder on with your tweezers because it's holding there, but before you get that first little bit of solder to flood and stick them together, you've got to be really careful with it. So yeah, it's still too hot. So anyway, yeah, I'm letting it cool down and I'm going to put a bit more solder on. Try that again. Got a bit more over the edge, so allow me to get heat under it a little bit better. This is very much a jewellery making experience. Doesn't matter how much experience you've got or how many years you've been making stuff. Part of the experience of making things is overcoming little hurdles like this. Adjusting my lamp, adjusting my chair, adjusting the flame, adjusting the position. Might have to move the solder. I'm having trouble with my flame today. Okay, I think we got that. Alright, yeah, that soldered quite nicely around the outside. So I'll show you up close my solder joint. See that nice neat edge around the outside there? So it's awkward putting it solder on the inside, but you are more likely to get a nice neat edge around the outside, and you're less likely to have solder blobbing everywhere. So yeah, it is awkward, like you saw. It didn't work for me first time, but yeah, put solder on the inside and try and put it through. I think is the best way to proceed and do that.